Hello, I'm Norman Robinson. Join me every Tuesday night of the month at 9:30 for Affordable Housing Matters, a show developed to educate the viewers in the New Orleans metro area with step-by-step basics of home ownership. Every show, we will bring in leaders and representatives to discuss topics such as credit counseling, home buyer training, mortgage lending, property insurance, fair housing practices, and so much more. Again, that's Tuesday nights at 9:30 right here on WLAE.
We're local and enlightening. You're watching WLAE-TV, celebrating.
Inside New Orleans Sports with Eric Asher is underwritten by.
At Villeries Florist, we deliver the magic of flowers 7 days a week to the North Shore and South Shore in the New Orleans area. Whether it's for birthday parties, baby celebrations, Villeries provides colorful floral displays for all. With a store full of fresh-cut flowers, exotic tropical flowers, orchids, roses, and even fruit baskets, our goal is to make your vision a reality. Villeries Florist, proudly serving Louisiana since 1969.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
C&C Drugs is a family-owned pharmacy that's been serving Southeast Louisiana for over 50 years. Whether you need help taking care of an elderly family member, a growing child, or even a pet, C&C provides patient-centered care for your entire family. C&C Drugs, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Locations in Mandeville and Araby.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Over the next hour, we'll cover all the home teams. Saints, LSU, Tulane, and Pelicans. Two of my favorite people on the panel today. Garland, Gillen, Jim Derry. Garland, Gillen of Fox 8 Sports. Jim Derry of the Attitude Podcast. Also Saints on SI. Join us on the program today. Guys, welcome back. One of the most fun times I had on this show was when we had you guys on the panel last time. Glad you guys are back.
I'm touched, man. That's an introduction there. I got a new contract negotiation coming up.
I saw Zand already signed.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I saw Zand signed his yesterday.
Zand signed his new deal. I got one coming up. I'm gonna bring him in the room and hype me up.
There you go.
He just likes it because he's got Uptown and right here in the middle, and then he's slumming in the West Bank.
Well, this is Uptown. That's Uptown. This is
slumming.
Oh, come on.
The best bank. The best bank, baby.
Best bank. There you go. Hey, before we get started, Garland, we always like to hype again, really you guys are involved in. Fox 8, great programming. You're doing a lot of stuff as well. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, we got a final bet. Jim Derry now lives in Slidell. I'm like, hey, you know what? You're doing the Eric Asher show? We'll come on over. Yeah. So we got that cooking. A new episode of the Garland Gillen show debuts Sunday. Brought Matt Moscona in. I mean, he's busy every day. The Locked On LSU podcast, like just LSU information nonstop. And Garland on the Avenue, I talk about Coach O, which we're going to get into. Yeah. And I'm writing a new football food. It's going to come out tomorrow. So I keep myself busy, even in the midst of summer.
No doubt. And you, Mr. Derry.
You would think that those old dudes would start slowing down.
No, I like it.
No. We keep on rolling. But yeah, got a lot going on. Of course, the Attitude Podcast is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube at 11 a.m. Central Time. Catch it after the fact if you like. Listen to it. But I'm also covering the Saints for Sports Illustrated on SI. Just Google Saints on SI and you'll find all of our stuff. And do a little play-by-play on the side for varsity sports now. High school sports is starting to wind down, but and maybe throw in a couple freelancing gigs here and there. Just doing as much as I can do.
Just kind of keep busy.
That's right, because I'm young and spry.
Guys, let's start off with the Saints, and I guess the first question is, well, again, about Alvin Kamara. Do you believe Alvin Kamara, based on everything that we've seen from the Saints, will be on this team this year?
Are you basing it on what the Saints are saying or what Alvin Kamara is saying?
What Alvin's saying, what the Saints are saying.
Yeah, because Alvin Kamara goes on the Teron Armstead podcast, and he's like, seems like he wants to be back on the team.
Right.
the Saints keep
You
saying,
say so.
yeah, and the Saints keep saying they're evaluating the roster. Like,
Roster resource. What was that? Resource management.
why don't the Saints just say he's on the roster and that's it? Like, this isn't hard, you know? He's under contract this upcoming season. They make it so confusing with what Mickey says and what Kellen's saying. I will say this. Behind Travis Etienne, there's guys that are always hurt, and Kendre Miller. Devin Neal got an injury last season. There's no, like, number 2 that I'm like, that's the dude.
Alvin Kamara got hurt.
Yeah, and Kamara got hurt. So, in a world where I think they might ask him to take a pay cut, and he possibly would, I still think that he should be back on the team for another season, because I just don't like the options behind Etienne. You need more than one running back, and it worked well with Mark Ingram. It worked well with Latavius Murray when it's Kamara, Ingram, Murray. So I like, or sorry, you know, you got the Ingram, Kamara. I say bring him in for one more year.
This isn't the same team that Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray were on together. That was a team that could win something. This is not a team that could win anything. I mean, let's be realistic. Could they win the NFC South? Sure, they could win the NFC South. There's a possibility, there's a chance. But let's get real. I mean, and I get that optimism is sky high, and it should be, because this is probably the best Saints team they're going to have since Drew Brees left. However, that being said, they're still in rebuilding mode, and one thing that Kellen Moore has made clear is that he wants to get younger. I don't see a place for Alvin Kamara on this team. If it were me, I agree with Garland that they should just let you know, but he is going to absolutely have to take a pay cut, and if he doesn't want to have to take a pay cut, he's going to be gone. And you know, as far as who's there, I don't care who's there. They're getting younger. Again, I'm looking more towards 2027 and 2028. And the goal, again, is to get younger, and I don't think you're doing yourself any favors by bringing Alvin Kamara back. For if no other reason, I don't agree with y'all saying that he sounds like he wants to come back. Not once did he say he wants to come back. I have yet to hear Alvin Kamara say, I want to come back and play on this football team. You would think he'd reach out to Travis Etienne and say, hello, dude, at least send him a text. So glad let's start a new duo. Let's make this thing work. No, he didn't even talk to Travis Etienne. Alvin Kamara does not sound like he wants to be part of this football team, and doesn't sound, frankly, like he wants to play football, period. And so that's where I'm leaning. I think there's a better than 50-50 chance that Alvin Kamara not only is not on the Saints next year, but isn't playing football next year.
You just did an article recently, 6th highest paid running back in the NFL right now?
He is the 6th highest paid running back per contract via his contract in the NFL dead cap hit, and I believe it was 8th in per. His annual salary this year will be 8th among all running backs. The next closest backup running back, because let's face it, if Alvin Kamara comes back, he's a backup running back. The next closest backup running back was 20th in the NFL. So the top 19 are all starters except for Alvin Kamara, which is 8th, and that's just too much to pay for.
If he plays under current terms, his $10.4 million cap hit will earn $11.5 million in cash. A post-June 1st cut leaves behind $10.7 million in dead money in 2026. The Saints will save only $376,000 versus the 26 cap. Of course, they can spread that over 2 seasons. Post-June 1st trade, $7.7 million in dead money, and they'd have the trade partner would take on a $1.345 million base. There would be a cap savings about $3.38 million. Is it worth it? Based on what I feel like they don't have a backup running back.
Yeah,
so,
I forgot to throw in Audric Estime. That's another stellar name.
Right.
I feel
Pick
like
one out of a hat.
I feel like they can ask for a pay cut. If he don't want to take it, then maybe have to send him on away there. Right. But at least, Mickey was honest on Monday. He said they hadn't even talked yet, which I think is kind of wild that Mickey hadn't talked to Alvin Kamara.
I think it's telling.
Yeah.
It's not just wild. It is wild, but it's telling that I don't think this team really wants. I mean, they're kind of offering. They're going to offer a pay cut, and they're going to make it look like they kind of want him back. And the same they're doing with Cam Jordan. Whatever offer they gave to Cam Jordan is there on the table, and it's basically take it or leave it. We don't really care if you take it. In fact, honestly, if we're being injected with truth serum, we probably don't want you back. But we can't tell people that we don't want Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara back, and I don't think they want Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara back. They want to get younger, and this is the way they're going. And some people are going to get their feelings hurt, and I'm talking about fans, and it is what it is. I mean, this is the goal. This is what this team's trying to do, and it's about a business. You talk about the money and what they're going to save, and it's almost nothing.
It's nothing.
But they don't care. It's not about
Right.
the money. It's about what's better for this team's roster going forward. And this team's roster is they want to give other people as much playing time as possible. You talk about Kendra Miller. I think in a perfect world, which we don't live in, they would love Kendra Miller to play as RB2 for 17 games. Is that possible? Probably not, considering his history. But I think that's what they probably want to shoot for. Devin Neal, they want to get playing time. And whoever else they bring in, whether it's one of the undrafted free agents that they brought in, or Ardrick Estime or whoever, I think they want to give other running backs time at the position, and all Alvin Kamara is doing is taking a place for one of these other I hate to say it that way, but that's all he's doing, is taking a place. He's not the same Alvin Kamara. Look at his numbers from last year. They weren't just bad because the Saints offensive line was bad, because the Saints offensive line was bad 2 years ago and he was fine. The fact is, he's 31 years old. You're trying to have a youth movement, and Alvin Kamara doesn't fit.
Garland, your thoughts?
He's selling it on,
I know he's selling
Noah
it.
Kamara.
He's selling it, but
I do understand where they do want to get younger.
I agree.
What you talk about Cam Jordan, it seems like I think Cam Jordan might got his feelings hurt because he thought there was going to be a market for him.
Right.
No one in the NFL wants him, and the Saints are probably giving him like the veteran minimum
Right.
offer.
Sure.
But what, 30% of the snaps I think he played last year? Yes, he did have an impressive season for that age. But they are making a signal that, I mean, Taysom Hill's long gone. Okay,
right.
Yeah. He Taysom's long gone. You know, we're talking about older people there. You know, he's already got his house up for sale. Cam Jordan actually has his house up for sale also, but he has a condo in the quarter too. So there's kind of like a, if and that. But with Alvin, I could understand going younger and just, 8 and 9 could win the division. So the over-under went till 7.5, so they can get right around there.
Look, the thing that's hard about this, Eric, is I don't want to sound disrespectful, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I mean, Alvin Kamara, I don't know if I would put him as the number one running back in the history of this franchise. He's certainly up there. It's either him or it's Deuce. And I don't think it's really that close, frankly, if you start talking about the best running backs in the history of this franchise. And so I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm talking about what is best for you have to stop worrying about being all this loyalty stuff. And here comes some more blasphemy. If Drew Brees would have left 2 years before he did, Tom Brady would have been the quarterback of this football team, and the Saints would have won another Super Bowl. There's zero doubt in my mind the Saints would have won another Super Bowl had Drew Brees left 2 years before he did. Blasphemy. This guy's an idiot. So, you're moving forward, and if you're going to move forward, then shove all in. And I think that's what this team is doing. I think they're starting to get rid of some of their allegiances, and they've already started to do it. Right. We saw Demario Davis leave, and that's what this team is doing. And if you get your feelings hurt along the way, sorry, small casualty.
Well, let's talk about locker room. Let's talk about leadership. And let's also talk about the things that Tyrann Mathieu talked about on his podcast, where, again, with Alvin Kamara, that supposedly he spearheaded the move to get Dennis Allen, again, ousted. There's something to be said about having Davis and Jordan in that locker room last year. Kamara as well in terms of leadership. All of a sudden now you're getting rid of guys that have been leaders that have kind of taken that culture and moved it through, again, the different generations of Saints under from Peyton now to Moore. Where does that stand with the Saints in terms of that? Who is going to fill that void?
Well, Chase Young, if you've been in an interview with him, he doesn't say a lot. I'm intrigued to see where they go. Caden Ellis is back with the Saints. I think he could be one of the leaders of the team. He was a strong locker room presence before he went to the Atlanta Falcons. Other than that, on that defense, Justin Reed probably would be another
Maybe Blackman.
Yeah. He only played, one game last season? So I think you're looking at a Justin Reed, a Caden Ellis. I don't know as much with Chase Young, but because Cam Jordan was a dominant presence in that locker room, and so was Demario.
Right.
So it is going to be a new leaf being turned over on defense, especially Tyrone was out after last year. So I like that they're going younger because they're not winning the Super Bowl next year. I'm sorry to say, don't put your betting odds up. The only thing I would say is they have a shot to win NFC South because the Panthers won it last year with an 8-9 record. The Buccaneers are fading. Tua is the starting quarterback possibly for the Falcons. That's not scary. Bryce Young's not that good. So I feel like the NFC South is up for grabs.
Jim?
I think just like everything else, there are going to be a lot of trial by fires with this football team. Again, to go with Garland saying, if they win the NFC South, great, that's lagniappe. We saw the 2006 six Saints come off of a season with Hurricane Katrina devastated everything. They were a 3-win team. They played everywhere across the country. They had a new coach and a new quarterback. Nobody knew Drew Brees was going to be Drew Brees back then. Could this be that kind of team? Possibly. But I think it's not about that. It's more about getting this team in a position to where they can be successful for a long run. And you're going to find out who your leaders are by fire. I mean, it might be somebody you don't know who it's going to be. I think Tyler Shuck could be one of those guys. But you're talking about a guy who's only started 9 games in his career.
Right.
So I think it's going to be trial by fire. I think you're going to figure out who it is. I think all the names that Garland mentioned, absolutely possibilities. But again, those are things that you go along the season and somebody emerges out of it. I mean, it could be someone that's not even starting right now. Someone that you don't even expect to be a major part of this team, then all of a sudden they are. And then 5 years from now, you're like, we can't do without that guy, whoever that guy is. And I think that's kind of where this team is right now.
Final question on the Saints. Positions that they still need to upgrade, in your opinion?
I don't know who the outside corner is right now. I know they brought in Emerson, who was injured in training camp last year with the Browns. Are you good with Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley at outside cornerback, and then in the slot or the star you can have Julian Blackmon, and then you got Jonas Sanker and Justin Reed? I'm still really worried about the secondary. I know that getting Emerson on a 1-year deal. He was a 3rd-round pick, so there's some talent there. That's my biggest issue with the team right now is secondary.
Defensive back, 3rd, wide receiver. Those are both my biggest questions. We've talked about these things before, but again, you can't fill gaping holes with a couple of drafts and a couple of free agencies. You just can't. And the whole look, I think Mickey Loomis has done a really good job. Blasphemy. I think Mickey Loomis has done a really good job the past couple of years in the draft, but he also was one that helped get them in that hole. Right. So, I mean, I think the Dennis Allen debacle set this team back. Keeping him an extra year, I think, cost this team actually 2 years. I said it before when he went out there and apologized to the Atlanta Falcons. It wasn't just that, but that was symbolic of where that team was then. I thought it was tougher to go any lower, and so you just plunged yourself into abyss. I think that they have to find a way out of this thing. I think they've worked. They've done a great job working their way towards out of the abyss, but I still think they have another 2 years before. You can expect this team to be where you want them to be. And hopefully it's another long run. We'll see.
You're watching Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Garland, Gillen of Fox 8 Sports, Jim Derry of the Attitude Podcast. Our guest will take an early break. We come back. Pelicans on tap first. They have a new head coach. We'll talk about LSU with some changes there. Will Wade and his basketball team that he's putting together. We'll also touch on Tulane as well. All that coming up in the second half of our program. You're watching Inside New Orleans Sports. Stay tuned.
Located at 3701 Iberville Street in Mid-City is Katie's Restaurant and Bar. Open 7 days a week, Katie's offers daily specials for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Serving New Orleans cuisine such as fried shrimp platters, grilled redfish, and a fully stocked bar. And don't forget about our expanded event seating and local entertainment. Featured on the Best of Food Network's diners, drive-ins, and dives, Katie's Restaurant and Bar.
Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration has been family-owned and operated since 1989. Burkhart has energy-efficient solutions and offers brands such as Mitsubishi ductless AC units and Amana, the only manufacturer with a lifetime unit replacement warranty. Burkhart's offers maintenance bundle packages that include servicing your AC, generator, and tankless water heater. For more information on the services Burkhart's provides, visit acpromise.com. Burkhart's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration, providing comfort for life.
Welcome back to Inside New Orleans Sports. I'm your host, Eric Asher. Garland, Gillen, Jim Derry, our guest. All right, guys, the Pelicans, times are a-changing. First of all, much like the Saints, they'll be going international this year. 2 games in January, one in Paris on January the 14th, the second in Manchester, England on the 14th is Paris, 17th is Manchester, England, and both games against the Spurs. Do you like it?
Gail Benson loves her some Paris.
You better believe it.
Okay. The Saints are spending an entire week in Paris leading up to their game against the Steelers. I heard she's got a huge party she's throwing on Friday night in Paris. I'm sure I'll have an invite to that. I guarantee it's coming in the mail.
I got mine.
Obviously Wembanyama is going to be the face of both these games. He's having a fantastic series right now, or playoff series. I mean, Game 1 was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my entire life when they beat the Thunder. And, on Wednesday night, it just wasn't enough. They had some injuries to Dylan Harper. I like the idea, okay? Pelicans need to open up their scope because in America, in the NBA, people don't think that much of the team at all.
I would agree.
The question is, do I like it? The answer is no, I hate it.
What?
I hate any international game. I don't even like when they have to go to Toronto to play the Raptors. NFL, it should be, look, the point is, though, all kidding
You're a
aside,
continental United States guy.
all kidding aside, though, it doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what Garland thinks. Doesn't matter what you think.
This is an opinion show.
They are trying. They are trying to expand. Both the NFL and the NBA are trying to expand to international waters. It's not going to. The frequency of these games are not going to go down. They're only going to go up.
I agree with that.
So I don't like it, but I understand why they're doing it, and I think it probably helps their global marketing, which is what they care about more than they care whether Jim Derry wants to see the Pelicans play in Paris and Manchester and wherever the hell else they're playing the Saints. So
at least they get on national television.
Like
I mean, they got to put them on national.
Yeah.
Wait till the Saints.
They weren't even on national television this year.
Wait till the Saints and everybody else are playing 2 international games because that's coming up. I think in the next decade or so, every NFL team will be playing 2, not 1. Within 10 years, I think every
2
NFL
per
team,
season?
I think every NFL team will play 2 international games.
Well, we know they're going
to
to play at least 1 because of what they just
Well,
went
they're
through.
already up to 11
Right.
in a year next year. So
every team will
right.
play at least 1 within the next 3 to 5
And
years.
I think when they go to an 18-game schedule,
Right.
I think everyone's going to get 2.
Right.
That's what I think.
The big story for the Pelicans this week is after 6 months, Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver have settled on a coach. Jamal Mosley, the former head coach of the Orlando Magic, is now the Pelicans head coach. Garland, your thoughts?
Defensive coach.
Yes.
So pretty weak on defense last year, so I think that's an improvement. At least this guy was a winner. I know they got knocked out in the first round, and they blew a 3-1 series lead. I like this over bringing in a Rajon Rondo, an assistant guy, which had once I did some real research, he had a very checkered personal.
Talking about Rajon?
Yeah, Rajon Rondo. Yeah, he had some off-the-court problems.
Yeah.
You had to dive in to figure that out?
Well, when you start looking at when it got down to 4 people, and you had Hetzel, and you had Hand, and you had Rondo, and you had Mosley, I started really looking into those 4 guys. And you got to kind of do a refresher, and then I was like, oh, Rajon Rondo got a few incidents back in the day. When I say back in the day, only like a year or so ago. Yeah. Out of the 4, Darvin Ham, a retread, didn't do well with the Lakers. Mosley, still a young guy. I like the move. I think that it shows the Pelicans want to win right away. I don't know how much they're going to win, but I feel like if you use an assistant coach, it's going to be a gradual build up. At least now it's like, hey, let's do this. Let's kind of mess with the roster a little and have a winner.
Look, here's the thing with the Pelicans, and you and I have talked about this before. I think I've even talked about this with Garland before, but this Pelicans team, if you're satisfied with them just going to the playoffs and maybe making a second round, then
that'd be great.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Then Jamal Mosley is the guy, probably the guy for you. Is Jamal Mosley the guy that can take you to an NBA championship? Probably not. But is there anyone that can take this Pelicans team? I mean, this Pelicans team, we talk about Abyss, the Saints have finally come out of theirs. The Pels are still in theirs. Are they going to get out of it? I don't know. Who knows? But Jamal Mosley did a really good job, I thought, with the Orlando Magic, and you look at his record proves it. They stunk when he first got there. It took him 2 years to get them out of hell, basically, and he did the job. He's going to have to do it again here. I just don't think he's ever going to be more than lead them to maybe a second-round series. And again, considering where they've been, that's probably good enough. And if you're okay with that, then Jamal Mosley's your guy. I don't know. I mean, this Pelicans team, I know what Joe Dumars is trying to do, but you wait you wait and you wait and you wait, and this is the guy that you waited on, and you couldn't, you spent 2 weeks talking to Jamal Mosley to convince him to come here or whatever they were trying to do.
Right.
So it's so strange. I don't understand the Pelicans at all.
Mosley 189, 221 as a head coach with the Orlando Magic. He took them from 21 wins, obviously, to 3 winning seasons back-to-back here, 133 and 113 during those seasons. 3 straight playoff appearances, but 3 straight first-round exits for the Magic. Overall, again, his Magic teams were 7-12 in the playoffs. The coaching tree where he comes from is impressive. George Karl at Denver, Mike Brown, Byron Scott at Cleveland, Rick Carlisle at Dallas, a guy that started in play and development and advanced scout in Denver and worked his way up through the ranks. Here's the deal: incredible defensive coach, okay, but his offense mirrors Willie Green's offense in New Orleans. There has to be, again, they're having this interview with him and they want him to come in here. There has to be some type of situation where he has a strong offensive coach, because one of the reasons why he's not the Orlando Magic coach anymore is because of that stagnant offense. Also, again, him and Banchero had an issue. He kind of lost that locker room a lot like Willie Green did. It's mirror images almost. Again, when you look at what happened there, obviously at this point when he comes in, he's going to have to be a situation where over 5 years will ultimately his message get stale. I think the reason why he's out in Orlando is it's 5 years. He's had these kids since they came in out of the lottery, and at some point again they just tuned him out.
But if they were up 3-1 on Detroit. Had they beaten Detroit, had they won one more game against Detroit, would he still be there? Would he be the Pelicans coach?
Possibly.
So, I mean, you're talking about a guy, one win changed whether he's the Piston, the Magic coach or the Pelicans coach. I will say this though, Jim. Look, defensively, and the toughness he's going to bring and the discipline he's going to bring, I think again is everything the Pelicans need. Yeah. Offensively, he's got to figure it out, because what we saw with the Pelicans in terms of their stagnant offense, 101 ISO ball, is the same thing you saw with the Magic, and that is the one thing that has to change. Other than that, I think he wasn't my choice, but I think he can do a good job here in New Orleans. Now, the question is going to be for both you guys is, who's he going to coach? Because on one hand, Dumars has said he loves this group, et cetera, but you cannot get better unless you start trading some of your assets. What will this team look like when they open up the season in October?
I feel like Dumars has an affinity for Zion.
Yes.
I feel like Zion's going to be back. Every time Dumars talks about Zion, it's in glowing circumstances. Even though the stats said different, he defended that when Zion and Derek Queen are on the court, it could be successful, even though all the numbers back it up saying we're not successful. The only places I could see them moving on would maybe be a Herb Jones trade. I don't think anybody's taking Jordan Poole off their hands. That might be somewhere where you stash him on the bench.
Oh, you're adding a draft pick to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, Dumars in his end-of-the-year presser did kind of allude to there's a chance they could trade back in and get into the first round, which would be good. Give us something to talk about at the end of June. Jim was worried about stacking shows and trying to figure out.
Me too.
So if the Pelicans have a first-round pick, that'd be quite tasty, something to talk about for the next month or so. But yeah, Herb Jones possibly would see some movement. I'd like to see a healthy season of DeJounte Murray. That'd be very nice.
Yes.
But that's somewhere else possibly they could move on from, because they got Jeremiah Fears, who got second-team All-NBA rookie, along with Derek Queen. So those are a few guys that I could see, because they need a center. Like, Emesi ain't that dude.
No, he's not.
They need a big inside, and I don't know what the Cavaliers, are they going to keep both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley going forward? Like, there's some spots where they can grab a biggie.
This is my question. I think Zion will be back. The signs point toward him being back. But if I'm the GM and I'm Joe Dumars, which obviously I'm not, but
but I wish you were.
How many times are you going to say, well, I think that Zion could be ... I'm sick of ... The dude's going to be 26 years old. He's about to be 26 years old, or he either just turned 20. He's either 26 or he's about to be 26. At what point do you say, this dude's not a kid anymore, and we keep saying he's going to be this or what? But he played so well last year. No, okay, but he was not the guy that you expected Zion Williamson to be. We keep worrying about FOMO. He's going to go somewhere else and he's going to be the Zion that everyone expected him to be. Well, at some point you say, so what? Go be that. So, like you're talking about a team that needs complete overhaul. If I were running this franchise, Zion would be gone. It's time to move on. I think you want to overhaul this roster, then overhaul it. But, again, a lot of it's probably going to have to do with Jamal Mosley once too, because you would hope that whatever his plan is coming in here, that he is going to have a large say-so, kind of like Kellen Moore now has with the Saints. You would hope that Jamal Mosley would come in here and be able to have a say-so on what he wants this roster to look like. But for me, it would start with get what you can get from Zion and start from there.
Well, I think that you look at Queen and Fears, I think those are two guys that are untouchable, right? You would think at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Trey Murphy is your biggest asset that, again, if you dangled him out there, you would get the most for.
Who's going to hit a three if you get rid of him?
Right, well, that's the point. But he's your biggest asset. I would agree with Zion. The question is, what will he do this summer? Like we've been waiting on since he was a rookie to expand his game. He hasn't done that. Last year, again, he was a guy that played a lot more games than we've seen. He was in really good shape. But the game is still the same. He's still the same guy. I mean, he's still the same move. There is no mid-range jumper. The question is, how long can you wait on him?
Have you ever seen, even in let's say a stretch of 25 games, have you ever seen the Zion that we all thought we were going to get?
No.
No, we've seen Zion. Oh, man, he's looked really good. Yeah, but really good isn't what you thought you were getting with the number one overall pick of this guy that was supposed to be, maybe he wasn't supposed to be Wembanyama or whatever.
Well, no, he was supposed to be Wembanyama.
Well, whatever. He's never been that guy that you thought you were going to get. He's been a really good player at times, maybe a top 25, top 30 kind of player for stretches of 25 and 35 games, but never been that guy who busted his shoe at Duke, who blew out his shoe because he was that damn good. And I haven't seen it yet, and he's 26 years old, and to me, I think it's time to move on.
That's why I'm interested to see who will be his offensive coordinator, his offensive coach, and how they're going to play if they keep Zion on the roster. Because with Zion, again, it is a team that really kind of disintegrates into iso ball.
Yeah. Was it 2024 was the year he was healthy the entire season and then got hurt in the Lakers playing game? That was the best we saw of Zion.
Yes, true.
I don't have FOMO with Zion, by the way. Like, I think if he goes somewhere else, he'll be good. He won't be great. I feel like he's comfortable here, and I think he could also get away with some things here that he couldn't get away with other places because Joe Dumars and the front office protect Zion in New Orleans. Doesn't do one-on-one interviews locally. He did one national interview on ESPN, and that was it. So, they kind of definitely protect him.
You mean he's not coming on the Datitude podcast? I probably can't get him on.
No.
Only after he comes on Inside New Orleans.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do a combined interview. I almost said joint interview, but I need to be careful. Combined interview.
Only after join Garland on the Avenue.
Yeah.
You know what? People have asked me.
You were thinking going Fox 8.
No, I have never had a guest on Garland on the Avenue. It's just me talking. It had to be like a Zion, okay? Because I've done 400
I'm
of those videos.
going to find you on the Avenue one day, and I'm just going to poke
People honk their horn. I have to redo some of them.
Yes.
That's not live. Yeah, I have to honk the horn. They honk the horn at me.
Yeah, they go. That's a good thing. They recognize.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's the shorts you wear.
All right, guys. How much of a turnover do you think the roster will be? See, I think it's going to. I'm not buying what they're selling. I think it's going to be a significant turnover. I think you bring Mosley in here. He's not coming in here with the same old same. Okay, because he would have had other opportunities elsewhere, right? And they keyed on him immediately. They keyed on him when he was still the coach of the Magic early in the season. They were talking about Mosley. So obviously at this point, there has to be some kind of working situation between Mosley, Weaver, and Dumars on what they believe this roster is going to look like going forward. I think there's going to be significant changes.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's where I'm at.
Well, let me say this. I think there has to be significant changes.
I think there should be, but I'll believe it when I see it.
No, you're right. New coach, Dumars wants to get back into the NBA first round of the draft, so I would. You can't do the same thing with that roster.
No, you can't. You cannot run it back like it is.
No. Oh, you can. I'm not saying they should.
Do you want to sell tickets?
Of course I do.
Then you can't run it back.
They should have done this last year, though. They should have.
Well, but in his defense, and I'm not defending him, but I am defending him. He took a year to figure out what he had. Okay, he's had that year now. He's had a year. Dumas and we've had a year to look at everything they've got on this team. They've had a year, 6 months to figure out who they wanted their next head coach to be. And they settled on the guy that everybody thought they was going to do. They were going to settle with, when they were talking about him in October. So you have to give this guy something. You have to give him something to play with that he can have. Their expectations are they can at least make the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I just think it'd be a lot easier if you had the 7th pick of the draft. Oh wait, or 8th pick of the draft,
pick.
whatever.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no. The 5th and the 8th pick in the draft.
The 5th and the 8th.
People keep forgetting that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Indiana's the 5th overall pick as well.
But you got
it was
Derry
2
Queen.
picks. Well, we'll see. Again, we'll see what Derry Queen's going to be. We're shifting gears now to the LSU Tigers,
gets
where there's
better.
really nothing to talk about at all. And we will start off with Coach Orgeron coming back home. Garland, take it away.
First off, you're getting him for $100,000. So that's nothing.
Right.
I think that is Coach Orgeron just dying to get back into the game.
What his duties now going to be, first of all?
He's going to be recruiting, and he's going to be, it seems like a defensive analyst, kind of kind of work with the defensive line.
Okay.
But it seems like that he is going to be just driving around the country and just stirring up, parents and getting
eating
recruits.
gumbo.
Yeah, getting recruits, getting gumbo, going out. I mean, he could just start in South Louisiana. There is a ton of talent in the New Orleans area right now that are in the 2027 class. He can now become Easton Royal's best friend. He's a Brother Martin wide receiver that's a 5-star that's committed to Texas, but could flip. He's playing the game right now. I think he's trying to get more NIL money. That's why he keeps talking up Texas and LSU. I think it's a positive because he loves LSU so much, and he would never do anything to jeopardize that again. I think also boredom has taken place. He's gone all over the country. He's gone hang out with coaches. I see him a lot of Tulane games on the sideline. I think he's tired of just hanging out. He wants to get back and get his hands dirty.
Who's a better ambassador for LSU football than Ed Orgeron? Right. And the answer is nobody.
Right.
I mean, $100,000.
That's
nothing. That's like half.
I'll take that salary.
Half a Garland salary. That's nothing. All this money that LSU football is bringing in, it's just.
And they threw $100,000 at him.
Here's $100K. Okay. I mean, that just goes to show you how bad he wanted to come back and be a part of this team.
Well, come on, he got fired, after winning a national championship, and he's coming back he's going to be an analyst, basically, right?
He's going to be what John Robinson basically was.
Exactly.
In 2019, which is fine, except he's 20 years younger than John Robinson was when he was here. And it just, again, it goes to show that Ed Orgeron wanted to be a part of this. I don't think it's just that he's bored. He's been trying to come back for 2 or 3 years now.
As a head coach, and no one.
I don't think he cared. He didn't have.
He wanted that Tulane gig, and there was no Tulane alum that was going to want him back as a head coach.
I don't think Coach O had delusions of grandeur that he was going to be a head coach again. Maybe.
No, he wanted the Tulane job. I know that for a fact. He wanted the Tulane job. But
I'm talking about LSU.
Oh, no, at LSU. But he's tried to get back in as a head coach. No one wants him as a head coach.
Well, I think he's a great ambassador for LSU football, and I don't think there's any doubt that the strength of Ed Orgeron as a coach is knowing how to play on the defensive line and knowing how to recruit players. Those two things he's phenomenal at. And he can come in and take the place basically of Frank Wilson in a way. That's what he kind of comes in. And when Frank Wilson departed for Ole Miss, because he got ticked off at LSU, and I don't blame him. And he's going off to Ole Miss, and Ed Orgeron can come in and kind of fill those shoes for probably less money. And I think he's going to be a fantastic recruiter. And I don't see this is a no-lose situation in my opinion. I know we joke about things that could happen, and spotlight and all those things, but he's going to be in a press box during games probably, and we'll see. Just go Tigers, let's get it rolling.
I agree. I don't think there's a downside to it. I mean, he's basically humbled himself to come back. He's taking $100,000 for the job, and he just wants to be part of LSU. So at that point, and he is a great recruiter, and he is a great defensive line coach. So why not take advantage of it?
I mean, it's like, what is he, 65, 66 years old?
65, yeah. 65.
So I mean, what let the man come back and do his thing and be a part of the program.
And say go Tigers a bunch of times.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Imagine, I cannot wait. Week 3 in Oxford, having Coach O and Lane Kiffin on the same sideline.
2 former Ole Miss coaches.
Oh my God! I mean, it's already going to be absolute bedlam in Oxford Week 3. Now you're going to move Coach O into the mix here. Just Carnival has come to town.
Well, you do a great segue, my friend, because the next question is going to be about Lane Kiffin and his comments about Ole Miss and the Confederacy, and of course he continues to again almost like he's like a shunned lover with Ole Miss. At this point, forget about Ole Miss. Worry about them in week 3. Your thoughts on those comments that blew up last week?
He didn't accidentally come onto that subject and talk about Ole Miss in that kind of way and the stigma. He did that on purpose. Like, everything with him has purpose. And if you ask him a question that doesn't have to do with what he wants to get out there, he will change the answer from the question. He's done that already with interviews that we've conducted with him during LSU training camp in the spring. He was hurt by the whole Ole Miss thing. He thought that he should have a little more respect on the way out. The fans. People remember Matt Luke was the coach before, and he was an absolute train wreck. Like, the Ole Miss was terrible. He brought them back to the respectability, and then brought them almost to the doorstep of a national championship. I know he wasn't coaching them, but he gave them the roster, gave him the keys to that. This is just going to keep on going. He can't hold back on like taking a diss at Ole Miss.
It's almost like with Lane Kiffin. What's the next thing he's just going to come out and just spout off about? You just never know what it's going to be.
You knew that you were getting into that when you.
Oh, 100%.
There was no doubt about it. Everyone knew this. This was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this for months. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens when he spurns LSU and goes to Alabama or wherever the heck else he's going to go.
NFL.
And
NFL.
You say NFL, I don't know. We'll see. He didn't do too well the last time he was in the NFL. Let's just say.
Oh, that was a disaster, Al Davis.
So
he's trying to exercise all those ghosts.
He can. Maybe he'll exercise a ghost here at LSU. I don't know, but obviously he's got some bad vibes or whatever it is for his former employer and
Vanity Fair. Okay, I mean, so and a 4-hour.
I'm trying to be nice.
And a 4-hour interview. Right?
I mean, hold on. Let me go look. You gave me a list of words that I can't use here on Inside New Orleans. Oh, yeah, I can't say that one. So we know who he is. He is who he is, and he's not going to change.
And my deal was, and I talked about it on the radio show, is before you start talking about the ties of the Confederacy for the University of Mississippi, you might want to take a look and see if the ties of the Confederacy
they don't
for
have
Louisiana State University. I mean, that's the first thing that hit me was like, I'm going to do research on the place where you are now. But with that said, I just can't wait for the opener against Clemson.
Yeah, they're 11.5-point favorites. This is probably one of the worst teams that Dabo Swinney has had. Their quarterback, Chris Vezina, this is going to be his first start. Tire Stadium, college game day, prime time. Place is going to be nuts for that first game. It's going to be crazy. I think that they'll definitely win that first game. I don't know if they cover the 11.5. You can get a 10.5 in one of the other books also. But yeah, I'm ready for the football to happen. Until then, we have SEC Media Days in July in Tampa. I'll be at that, and then camp starts in early August. It'll be here. Trust me. I know it always feels like a long summer, but I feel like with LSU in the news, he had Vanity Fair last Monday. Then he had On 3 on Tuesday. Then on Thursday, Virg Osbury trashed Brian Kelly to USA Today. Then yesterday, Lane Kiffin was on Pardon My Take, which is part of Barstool Sports Network. Did another hour interview. So I feel like there's going to be another interview coming soon. That's going to be even more outlandish. Something else is going to happen. I know he loves to fish. He probably needs to go down to Boca Raton or Naples or where he's going and kind of take a break for a few.
There you go.
I mean, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, there we go.
I'm trying to be nice when it comes to Lane Kiffin. People get mad when I say bad things about Lane Kiffin because I don't think it's going to be this great, beautiful, loving marriage that all the other LSU fans think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a hot mess. And I'm just going to sit back and eat popcorn and whatever else.
Speaking of a hot mess,
another segue? 2 segues in one show?
Will Wade is
go.
recruiting a team that is a team of players from the Euro League, professional league, players from the G League, professional league. And of course, some people can say that now collegiate basketball is a professional league as well. Guys, he's also recruiting men. 25, 23, 22. The average age of a senior is like 21 years old in the NCAA. Your thoughts on Will Wade and recruiting the international base, but also going after guys that were drafted into the NBA?
First off, we're talking about LSU basketball in May.
Yes.
Okay, let's just throw that out there. I can't recall another year that we were talking about LSU basketball in May. Even when John Brady led them to the Final Four in 2006 and they got smoked by UCLA in the Final Four, I don't think we were talking about them in May. So I will at least give Will Wade that, because Matt McMahon, it was an absolute boring product he put on the court. Their best player they spent a lot of money on last year was injured most of the season. Saying all that, I have no problem with all the international guys.
No, I don't either.
Because if you look at Underwood, the head coach at Illinois, he built his team up with internationals.
Agree.
I have no problem with that. The Luis kid, who was at St. John's and then he's G League, I have a problem with that one. I think that's a bad one. I don't think they should have anything to do with that. It didn't work last year with Belliacqua at Alabama. Got a few games, and then they got him out of there. I don't like that one. But all the other internationals, roll with all those guys, okay? Because you know what? Indiana, the average age of their team, their starters was like 24, 25. So I have no problem with that.
Let me go back to this list of words that I can't say here. Oh, I can't say that one either.
What is happening here? What's going on?
You need a 25-year-old dude who was drafted, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, however many years ago. You need a 25-year-old dude to win on your team. Get out of here, man. Look, I don't care if it's legal or not. It's just disgusting. It's legal. Okay? Kind of like where I think this LSU basketball team is right now. Disgusting. And I don't even want to watch it, to be honest. I don't care. Good. Go win. Go get to the Sweet 16.
That'd be awesome.
Go get to the Sweet 16 and spend all this money and have your 25-year-old kids. You can have all kinds of y'all can have this big party with, everybody on the team is going to be able to drink liquor.
Emotional.
I mean, it ticks me off. I mean, go get. You
don't want to see them
real college basketball.
I would pray that Tulane would just recruit a bunch of 27-year-olds and make the tournament. Tulane's been absolute trash forever. LSU's becoming a mistake up there.
They brought in Will Wade. Speaking of trash, most people want to put the trash out. LSU continues to want to bring the trash in, okay? And that's what this guy is going to do to this basketball program. Yes, they will win more than Matt McMahon. It'll be more fun. And you know what? They'll be trash. It's trash, Garland.
By the way, Yam Mater, the Israeli, 25 years old, was drafted in 2020, second-round pick of the Celtics.
Years old.
R.J. Louise, who Garland mentioned, was the Big East Player of the Year. Went undrafted, signed a two-way contract with Utah before being traded to the Celtics. He was waived. We got an Exhibit 10 contract from the Celtics. He was with the Celtics G League in Maine. They waived him injured before he played a game. Neither one of these players have been on an NBA floor, okay, and played an NBA game, but they have been drafted. They've been in the G League. That's the big question here. And of course, you mentioned about the Alabama player. He played 5 games, but before ultimately his eligibility was taken away. And look, Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, said back in 2025 he would not allow athletes or returning student athletes that have signed an NBA contract, including two-way players, to be granted eligibility. So once again, Will Wade is taking it right to the line.
Yeah. Okay? They knew they were getting into this.
And they are waiting to be able to see. Ultimately, they know they're going to have to get clearance through the courts to get some of these players to play, including Mater and Louise. I don't think they care.
No, and at least everything's by the book now, okay?
Right.
They'll at least try it this way. It's just LSU basketball. It goes LSU football, and then they got a few months. It's kind of cold. We're focused on Mardi Gras, and then we go into LSU baseball. No one talks about LSU basketball, so at least we're bringing it up right now. Okay, it's leading everybody's shows. Jeff Goodman from Field of 68 is having conniption fits on the air. Almost as close to Jim is right here, man. Jim's getting very emotional about LSU basketball.
The over-under of classes these kids will attend throughout an entire semester
Lord, I don't
is
care
somewhere about
school.
6.5.
Well, that's the thing.
Wait, Joe Burrow in his final season at LSU took one online course. Okay, we can slow down on that one too. Okay.
He was a graduate student. When you're 25 years old, you're supposed to already have a college degree. Show me this 25-year-old, and if I'm wrong, because I have not looked in his history,
I don't know.
I have no idea whether he actually has a college degree,
Right.
and I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm betting good money without knowing this guy doesn't have a college
That's
degree.
going to be the thing.
He's
How do you
25 years old.
How do you get into class? That's the other part of it. But let's face it, guys, and I'll talk about this on the radio show. You know, this is kind of boiled down to the international players are professionals. The G League players are professionals. These are guys who are getting paid. The only difference between, again, the G League, the international game, and the collegiate game is now you got to go to class in order to keep your eligibility so you can get your NIL money.
Yeah.
It's all boiled down. They're all professionals now. Okay,
There's no question.
Okay, they're all professionals.
I get it, they're all professionals.
And I will say this.
But I mean, where do we draw the line, Eric? I mean, I understand that they're all professionals and that's fine and dandy. But I mean, somewhere, unless your name is Will Wade, who's never had a line. I mean, this is a guy who everybody in college basketball, when he got canned, was cheating. This is the only person that was dumb enough to get caught, okay?
Right, you get your assistants.
So now you're bringing back, and it's not cheating anymore, but whoop-de-doo, it's not cheating. I mean, you think he could? I don't know. I'm gonna let it go there.
Okay,
I'm just gonna say the morality of the LSU basketball program is obviously taking another major hit.
Well, you could say that about the entire athletic program. That again, they're trying to buy championships, but it is what it is. That's what it is today in college athletics.
I'm just saying,
buying championships.
and I get that, but it's somewhere there needs to be some sort of line, even if it's a dotted line. And there is no such thing with the look.
That
LSU,
is the dotted line. They're waiting to go to the courts. Okay. Now we'll say this before we close on this.
They don't care about.
This is a heck of a basketball team he's putting together.
Yeah.
Okay.
They might beat the Pelicans.
Okay. They might be. They could be.
Oh, slow down. All right.
Maybe.
Man,
but I'm telling
hyperbole
you,
on this show
but I'm telling
today.
you,
It's like
this is a heck of a basketball team he is putting together. Now, with that said, I want to shift gears to the LSU baseball team. Jay Johnson has got to be right now sitting in his house going, "Phew, I'm glad this is over." Your thoughts? Where do they go from here? Obviously, again, this was something that no one foresaw this season. Again, with the total breakdown of the team, what do you see going forward for this program?
I think he's not going to run out freshmen that he recruited all through high school as quickly. Mikey Ryan, I don't know if you ever covered him. He was at Rummel, really good player. Jay gave up on after 1 year. He went to NC State and tore it up this year. Maybe give these kids that you've been working relationships with for 2 to 3 years, don't give them the boot and then bring in like a Zach York from Grand Canyon, give him a ton of money, and he's not even the starter on the back end of the season. So I think he's got to be way more selective on how he gets these kids in the transfer portal. But I think the key is recruit through high school, pray that they don't get drafted high in the MLB draft. And I think he had some bad steps with the pitching staff there. I think Cooper Moore, some injuries you can't control, him and Jake Brown.
I think it also goes to show, and this actually kind of relates to basketball in a way. I think you have to have some guys that are able to develop a chemistry. And you look at the LSU now, I've said this for a long time, but and really in every sport, I guess basketball is probably the least of the three major sports that you need that as much. But especially when you're talking about a baseball team, when all these guys are trying to work together, and I think that Jay probably went past that and started playing the game and said, "I'm going to bring in all these different guys." And I agree with what Garland said. He just didn't bring in the right mix, and I also agree that I think you're going to probably see develop your own talent. You don't have as much time to develop talent as you used to,
right.
But I do think in baseball you have a little bit more time, and I think that maybe you do go back to that a little bit. There's a one and done in basketball, so that's why it's harder to do it in basketball. But I think that in baseball you can, and I do think he's going to change his philosophy. There's no question he learned his lesson, and he couldn't wait to get. There was a situation last night where a kid could have hit a ball off of his foot, and then went out to talk, and it was almost like, do you want to take him out? It's like, this game's almost over. This season's almost over anyway. You could read it on his face, and so I think that's where he was.
Let's talk Tulane here. First of all, David Harris under a lot of fire from the fan base. There's been people are upset about the Will Hall hiring. People are upset because Ron Hunter was not fired. I don't know if they're upset about the Jay Allman situation because again he has gotten in the tournament, but they expected more of their baseball team. You've interviewed David Harris. Again, your thoughts on him as athletic director?
Not excitable.
Okay.
It's kind of bland, but maybe for an athletic director, you don't need an outlandish, carnival rouser. So, but the situation with the head basketball coach. I finally figured out why he didn't fire him, and that was when I found out that he got Dannon gave an extension, 2-year extension after I think the 2023 season. So he still has 2 more years left on his contract. That's why Hunter's safe. Like he's got 2 more years, and no one. The difference between LSU and Tulane is LSU's buying out guys left and right. They don't care. With Tulane having such a rich alumni base, it blows my mind. There's not one guy out there that could buy out Hunter's contract. Ron Hunter, I think, is only, if you take the final 2 years, I think it was about $3.5 million between there, and no one's buying him out. So I don't think Harris wanted to deal with that. And then Jay Ullman, that's another Dannon hire. They lucked out winning the tournament twice, but then they made the rule where the final 2 teams don't make it in. So. And let's be also honest, he didn't really hire John Summerall. I've talked to Summerall about this. There was an acting AD after Dannon. He committed to him. He thought he was going to get the job, not David Harris. So David Harris did not hire John Summerall. So right now his hiring record is not good right now, Tulane.
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, I know a few Tulane Greenbackers who are not thrilled with what's going on over there, and I think you're going to see a lot of people maybe get involved at some point. But look, they're playing in a world against the LSUs in the grand scheme of things. It's a lot different. Like Garland talks, it's all about money these days. It is. I mean, Tulane doesn't have the money to do the buyouts and to pay what LSU's paying. I mean, there is no such a thing as pocket change there. I mean, it costs $3 million is a lot of money at Tulane, whereas LSU is like, who's going to write the check? So I mean, Tulane's just in a different boat. I'd love to see him get back to where, I mean, football is really what concerns me, because, I mean, the last time I think it was on the show, we talked about Hall, and, I don't know that he's going to be able to fill those shoes. We'll see. I mean, he's an offensive-minded coach who, hopefully he's got the right quarterback, and Tulane football can continue on their winning streak. But, it's been a while since basketball or baseball have been any good. And I hope they can change that.
Well, Jim, I tell you what, if football takes a dip here,
there's going
to be a revolt that fan base.
I mean,
that's what they've been hanging their hat on.
Yeah, I mean, they easily could become a 5 or 6 win team right off the bat. Right. I mean, we talk about over-unders on Garland's show all the time, and I mean, do we even?
They haven't put one out yet, and I'm really worried about that quarterback situation between Caden Simons, who didn't have one snap last year. Zion Chris Grimion lost his job at Houston. That's why he's back here at Tulane. The quarterback situation is scary. The best quarterback on the roster is a true freshman. It's Trace Johnson. It's Doug Johnson's son. Doug Johnson played at Florida Gators in the late 90s, played in the NFL. That's their best quarterback. He will be the starting quarterback in 2027. You can mark that down right now. If he stays at Tulane, he'll be the starting quarterback in 27. Right now, I would give it to Zion Chris Grimion. He's a little ahead of Caden Simonza, but neither one of them are blowing my mind right now.
If it's close and Johnson is in the mix here, do you think they go with the younger quarterback?
I don't think right now that he's not ready yet.
Okay.
But if you go to any practices, you could tell that he has the most talent, and he's apparently lives and breathes football. That is just like his whole world. And he won a state championship. Carson Palmer was his head coach last year in high school. So there's good pedigree. So keep an eye on Trace Johnson going forward. But I think next year.
Well, and the one thing that Will Hall's been good at is with quarterbacks.
Yes.
I mean, throughout his entire coaching career. So if he can get the most out of a quarterback, that will go a long way for Tulane.
I think this is the key to David Harris' longevity at Tulane is what happens with this football team.
There's no question.
No doubt about it.
If you lose them, then you're going to really lose. I mean, you're going to lose support, a lot of support. The other two sports, you're not going to do.
Jim Derry, The Attitude Podcast, Garland Gillen of Fox 8 Sports. Thanks so much for being with us here on the panel.
Absolutely, had fun.
Always fun with these two guys, wasn't it? Absolutely. All right, guys. There's a QR code on your screen now that will take you to the WLAE-TV YouTube channel, also to my website. So many ways to catch our program. I say it every week. We're blessed. WLAE-TV, WLAE-TV 2, also known as Encore, also Pelican Sports Television, the WLAE-TV YouTube channel. Set your DVR. You'll never miss the program. Catch me on the radio, 106.7 The Ticket. That's weekdays 4 to 6. You can listen live at ericasher.com. Also, 106.7 The Ticket's website. 106.7 The Ticket has an app. You can download that. iHeartRadio app, TuneIn Radio app, other digital platforms to take the show and the station with you everywhere. I want to thank the underwriters who make our show possible. Please support our underwriters. And also want to thank the folks here at WLAE-TV who produce our program and do a fantastic job. Ron Yeager, Jim Dotson, Alex Chacon, the best director on the planet, William Hill. For Garland and Jim, I'm Eric Asher. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another edition of Inside New Orleans Sports. Thanks for watching.
If you are somebody who is struggling, or if you know somebody who is, you're in the right place.
Thursdays at 2:30 p.m.
Yoga, like life, is a process of refining and evolving. Simply slowing down and being aware is a place to begin. Hi, my name is Stacy Milner Collins. Welcome to Yoga in Practice.
Thursdays at 5 p.m. We're local and enlightening. You're watching WLAE-TV, celebrating